Hey everybody, I've been asked to make this video because there's a bunch of owners out there who are wondering how much a short sale costs. Okay, now I've spoken about this to many owners because a short sale could be scary, but it doesn't have to be at all. All right, and I know that owners have this misconception that you have to pay a lot of money for a short sale. Now I'm going to show you in this video that you don't have to pay anything. It doesn't cost you anything. It's not free, meaning that we don't work for free. It's just it doesn't cost you anything. So it's a service that's at no cost to you. All right. So the first thing I want to do is introduce myself. My name is Robert Savory. I work over at United Real Estate Agency, as you can see with the cursor over here. My office is in Fair Lawn. That's where I hang my license. I do have what I consider a satellite office, almost like a home office, over at 480 McBride Avenue in Paterson, New Jersey. It's conveniently located off of Route 80. And I also work with Joshua Santillan, and this is his business card. And so just in case you get a phone call, if you as the owner get a phone call from Josh or from myself, just know that we are both 100% licensed real estate agents here in the state of New Jersey. What I'm also going to show you is the business card of Oscarina, aka Lena. She works with us as well. So if you get a phone call from her also, then please note that she is a licensed real estate agent. So owner, if you do decide to do a short sale, remember you're getting the services of 3 agents, not just 1 agent, but 3 agents. Okay, and because we all work as a team. So now let's go back to this presentation regarding why and how a short sale is at no cost to you. So the first thing I want to show you is a copy of a short sale approval letter. So us as real estate agents, when we begin the short sale process, it takes some time. It could take a few weeks. Sometimes it takes a few months. Okay, but what's going to happen eventually is a bank, and this bank over here, as you can see, is Wells Fargo. They issue what's called a short sale approval letter, and in this short sale approval letter, it details what items will be paid for at the closing based on the purchase price. So this is just an example of what a short sale approval letter looks like. They don't all look like this, and even Wells Fargo has different types of short sale approval letters. All right, there's all different types of banks, and they all have different types of short sale approval letters. So I'm just going to scroll down over here. All right. Ooh. And as you can see, it says over here that this approval is based on the purchase contract dated whatever date it was. By the way, I remove people's information because I don't have their permission or their authority to show it on this video. But I don't need it. All right, I can just show you this. Okay, so so over here says that there's a contract that was dated, let's just say January 1st, 2021, between the sellers, okay, and let's just call them, John Smith, right, and the buyer, Jose Lopez, all right, and the purchase price is $400,000. Okay, now it's saying over here that as of the date of this notice, the unpaid principal balance on the loan is $435,000. Now, this unpaid principal is greater than the purchase price, thus it's a short sale. Okay, so the house is in a way underwater. Okay, so what the house is worth is what it's valued at is less than what the balance is. Okay, all right, so then you qualify for a short sale. Now, what the bank is also saying here, Wells Fargo is saying, is that the acceptable sales proceeds, what they're going to get from this $400,000 purchase, is $348,480, and that's what they're going to accept to settle this balance, this mortgage. Okay, and I want to show you over here, why this is why it's this amount. Okay, all right. So we have over here the unpaid principal balance, if you can follow my cursor, of $435,000. The house sold for $400,000. Okay, Wells Fargo is saying, okay, of this $400,000, I am okay with taking this amount. Why am I okay with this? Because all of the closing costs for the sellers for the seller, well, yeah, for John the seller, are these. Okay, so if you add this up, if you add up the total here, all right, and this amount, it comes out to exactly $400,000. All right, now part of the closing cost for any seller for any real estate transaction is the commission. Well, if there's a real estate agent involved, okay. So remember, you have a buyer and a seller in any transaction. The buyer has closing costs and the seller has closing costs, whether you have a real estate agent involved or not. In this case, there is a real estate agent involved. Okay, there's actually two real estate agencies that were involved, because when I did sell this property and I represented the seller, there was a buyer's agent from another company, all right, that was involved in this. So the bank, Wells Fargo, is basically saying, John, Mr. Seller, sell your house for $400,000. Of that amount, we want this, and everything you have to pay for, this is what we will approve. Okay, so the commission is $24,000. All right. There was a seller's concession here for $6,510. Now, for y'all who may not know that what's a seller's concession, basically it's money that's going to be given back to the buyer for closing costs. As I was as I'm speaking right now, I'm remembering that this deal, it was a $400,000 transaction. The buyer knew that the house was being sold in as is condition, but when the buyer did their inspection, they found like some like water leaking into the garage or something like that. So what happened was, after we got this short sale approval letter, and we couldn't change it at all, like we couldn't change the price or request a concession or nothing like that. The buyer's attorney reached out to us and said, hey, we're requesting, I think it was like a $3,000 credit. So we said, look, we'll do something better. Your buyer didn't even request a concession or a credit, but we got it for the buyer, because we're doing the short sale. Because when we do our short sale packets, when we send it over to the bank, we ask the bank things that sometimes could come out as a surprise. So we want to prevent these problems. Once again, I'm a true believer in preventing problems instead of solving them. So what we did over here was, there was a problem, okay? It was a $3,000 problem, right? But guess what? There was $6,510, as I'm circling this number here. That problem was alleviated. So I told the buyer's attorney, hey, look, your buyer's now going to get another $3,500 towards his closing costs. So can you, accept that in lieu of the credit? The buyer was happy, and so was the buyer's agent, and so was the buyer's attorney. They said, this is even better, right? All right. Another great thing with this deal was that the seller, the homeowner, and he was living in there, okay, he received a $10,000 relocation incentive to move. See, what was happening, and what happens with many of these houses, is that the banks, when somebody stops paying their mortgage, okay, which you have probably done, whichever owner is watching this, is that they have to now pay property taxes. They pay for the insurance. They pay for some maintenance, okay, especially if you vacate the house, and now they have to winterize the house, they have to resecure it, they have to do other things, right? So and they know that in the state of New Jersey, it takes a while to foreclose on the property. So who knows how long the foreclosure process is gonna take, especially now with this pandemic and the courts being closed. So what they do is they incentivize the owners to sell the property. So this owner received $10,000 at the day of the closing to move out of the house. All right. So the seller was good with that. There was these other fees around here that we requested from the bank as well, and they approved it. So just so you know, we have these title services, like the title insurance and settlement fee. So basically, the buyer, once again, I didn't know who the buyer was, because he was being represented by another agent. But the buyer, any buyer for any transaction, has to pay their attorney, right? So I got the bank to pay up to $1,500, as you can see here, settlement fee, up to $1,500 for that, for their attorney, right? Once again, like this is almost never done, but I want to prevent a problem, right? And how do we usually fix problems? with money. Okay, like everything has a price. So I was able to pay for the buyer's attorney, title services or insurance. Okay, this is a closing cost that the buyer has to pay for. All right, but I got the bank to pay for it. There's all these other fees here as well that the bank had agreed to pay as well. So once again, if you take this amount and these amounts, if you add them up, they come out to $400,000, and that's how a short sale will not cost you anything. Whoever, whichever owner's listening to this right now. So I'm just gonna go scroll down a little bit more. This is basically the end of the short sale approval letter, and then this is a copy of the actual ALTA or HUD 1 of when we close. Now, I also did white out a lot of information over here because once again, I don't have permission from the parties who were involved with this to display this on the video. But I wanted to show you that once again, this is a $400,000 purchase price. All these expenses over here, all these expenses that you see over here, okay, they were all paid for at the closing. All right, and you see all this paid for, everything, even this $10,000 right here. There you go. It says over here half a relocation. That's actually wrong. It should have just said like incentive, like relocation incentive, because when I sold this property, like the half a relocation was already done and over with for many years. I don't know. Once again, this is maybe another reason why, if you are thinking about doing a short sale, you want to work with somebody like me, because I've been around, and I know, I remember a half, all right, how they were giving money out. Well, it was a program that was, I think, sponsored by the government. I think it was like Home Affordable Foreclosure Alternative, something like that. I forget, what the exact name was, but they were giving out money. But this is it's not a typo. It was just mistakenly identified. They should have put over here like relocation incentive. And many banks still give relocation incentives. And some of them will give $500, some of them will give $5,000, some of them will give $3,000, some of them will give $20,000. What I promise to you is that we will ask for a lot of money, because hey, you know what? If you never ask the question, you know what the answer is always going to be? No. It's always going to be no. So always ask a big question, right? So what we always do with our short sale packages, we ask for a lot more than the 10,000. This we got 10,000 because we were denied what we were requesting. Okay, I've had an owner once for a house in Patterson, I think on like East 31st or East 32nd Street. He got like $38,000 in like a relocation incentive from Wells Fargo. So they every bank is different, and every bank has, and every short sale is different, because every short sale is a different owner, like the mortgage is a different owner. And remember, Wells Fargo is simply the mortgage servicer. Okay, so Wells Fargo had to get authorization from whoever owns that loan, owns that note, to okay the $10,000 for the owner. Okay, for this particular seller. Okay, so yeah, as you can see over here, the debit and the credit for the seller are the same amount. So the thing with the short sale is that an owner can never make money, nor could they lose money. So it has to be at $0. But in this case, right, the relocation incentive was actually a closing cost for the owner slash seller. It was not net proceeds, it was a closing cost. Okay, this is why their net proceeds is at zero, because everything's zeroed out over here. Once again, if you want to speak about this, just give me a call. All right, and I have here finally a copy of the check. All right, I know I whited out a lot over here. This looks like a very empty check, but as you can see, it was $10,000. It was made out to the name of the owner slash seller, and the guy was, and his family were super happy with the service that we were able to provide, and the buyer was happy as well, because remember, the buyer saw noticed a problem in the garage, it was a $3,000 problem, but we got him, you know, we got him a seller's concession. Let me scroll back up here of $6,500. All right, he asked for 3,000. We gave him $6,500, and in addition to that, up to $1,500 in title services. Okay, and in addition to that, up to $1,500 in for his attorney. And as I'm looking over here, also actually, this is for his title services, and this is for his title insurance. So that's another $1,500. All right. So, you know, everybody was happy in this transaction, and that's our job. And once again, I didn't know the buyer. All right. So I didn't, you know, I wasn't obligated to give, you know, him any money back. But, you know, once again, like the way that I do it is I want to prevent a problem. Okay. And the buyer, you know, just in case something happened, who knows? Like maybe he could have found something more in the garage, and it was a, you know, an $8,000 problem. But, you know, with him getting, you know, like all this back, then he would have been like, okay, well, I'm getting it back in some other way. I'm getting it back, and it's all on the HUD. It's all on the altar. So, once again, if you want to speak about this, just let me know. My name is Robert Savori. Let me show you my business card again. Here we go. Or you may have gotten a phone call from Joshua Santillan. We're both licensed real estate agents here in New Jersey. And call me. My number is 908-432-2526. And Josh's number is 973-405-1413. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. See you in the next video.